welcome to this video on the Financial Reporting Matrix version 8.3. Today I'm going to cover the features listed on our GitHub page, freeze grand totals, rename applied steps, search applied steps, multiple select row, and color scales. It's an improvement to conditional formatting. I'll link both GitHub and where to get the sample file in the description. But now let's go into Power BI. First is freeze grand totals. It's mainly for the totals that Power BI are generating behind the scenes. And you can turn them on by selecting to show the total row grand total under totals. So you get this total here. It's just adding up everything you added to the visual. You can give it a name, so let's call it row grand total so we see it. I'm going to give it a style, bold one. There it is. And if I expand everything, if you hold control and click on an expansion symbol, it's going to expand everything on that level, which is pretty cool. And you can collapse everything the same way. But now the total is gone. You have to scroll all the way down to see it. And there it is. If you scroll upwards, it's disappearing again. Now if you click on freeze grand total, it's going to be showing at the last part of the visual, no matter where that is. Please if you scroll. So it's always visible. You can also select to show it at the top position. Then even if you scroll down, you'll see it at the top. So freeze grand total just means it sticks, it's showing. Okay, so next I'm going to show you a couple of features in one go. We go to edit mode. And now let's hold control and click on these rows and also this one, because they are all cost rows. The rest are income. So now if you hold control, you get the symbol indicating that they have been selected. If I right click now and select an option, I'm going to apply it to all of them at once, which is the multi-select function we've added. I'm going to set a row option to this, and I'm going to tag them all. You see now this step that was created, it contains multiple row options as the name of it, and you see it's indicating on the left which rows this is affecting. I'm going to tag these with is cost, and then I can go in here and I can select this row, or sorry, this step, and I can rename it by clicking on the pencil, and I'm just going to call this tag as cost. So it's a bit cleaner, easier to find. Then I'm going to go to, I'm going to add one measure, my difference measure. Yep. So I'm going to right click my difference. I'm going to add conditional formatting, and I'm going to say that if the difference is greater than 0, and my difference, just gonna stick with this one, and the row is cost, then it's gonna be red, because that means it's one of my cost rows and I spent more than I planned to do, so it's a negative thing for my bottom line. Apply. So you see this one is the only one affected. Now I'm going to do the same for is less than 0, and I'm going to specify that it's cost, and that's going to be green, because if my cost is less than budgeted, it means I spent less. So these are positive contributors to my bottom line. So in here I'm using the row option selection is cost to differentiate and only target the ones that are cost rows, tagged as cost rows. And then I can also go in and I can see this is the red one, so I can rename this and I can say red for costs, and then green for cost. So it's easier to know kind of what this step is doing before you open it. Then we're gonna add a couple of steps here. Okay, so now I have some more steps in my layout. And if you have a lot of them, you might have to scroll for them, but now we have added the search field, which is pretty convenient. I can now search for add, enter, and it's filtering down everything starting with add. You can also search for CF, and then, because that's conditional formatting, the original name of the step, but even though we have renamed it, you can still search for CF. If I search for red, I'll also hit the new name. And if I search for hide, I get the hide steps. And if you just click enter on a blank search field, you get everything back. So this will help you find the steps you're looking for. If you want to identify kind of which hide steps have we added, you just type it in and you see kind of you're left with only hide steps. So hopefully this will help a lot of you just navigating and finding the correct steps that you're looking for. So that was step renaming. It was multi-select. Hold Control and click, and you get the indicators that you're selecting multiple rows. You can use this for update row style as well. So if you have a style you want to apply to certain rows, you can do all of that in one go. So this can be pretty useful. You can also set the sign factor for multiple ones, so I can invert all of those at the same time. And then you see the conditional formatting is also changing because the invert sign factor has been applied. Final feature for this video is new improvements to conditional formatting. So if I just remove some of these steps, then I can add conditional formatting to my actuals. And the new option here is that the formatting type has been added. Instead of a rule, which is this one, you can change to a color scale. And then you get some new options. You can choose diverging, sequential, or custom. Starting at diverging, you specify 2 colors for the minimum and maximum color. You can specify the number of color ranges. So if we set this to 10, you get 10 nuances between the minimum and maximum value. Or you can set it to a different number. But let's say 10 different values. You can apply it to the font or the background. If you apply it to both, they'll kind of blend so you won't see them. So you have to choose one. And you can compare against either a child group or the row level. I'll show you what these do. You can also include totals. That means if you have a grand total at the bottom and include the total, then that would be parts of the value, or one of the values that all the other on the same level will compare against. You can also add optional conditions, so you can specify that it should only be applied to a certain level. It should also be only be applied to a certain parent header, or different conditions you want to add. Only to rows that are tagged with a cost, and so on. But if we just add this right now, you'll see you get all the colors listed here. So one of these are hidden, so it's a bit hard to read. That's better. So now you have one global maximum, which is this one, and one global minimum, which is one of the others. This one, I guess, because it's a percentage. But if I expand on sales, now every account or every row under sales will have one group maximum, one group minimum, which is here. And everything is sorted between those and compared against those. If I go to cost of goods, this group will have its own minimum and its own maximum, which all other rows in this group will be compared against, because we have selected child group. If I change this to row level and click apply, then nothing will change on the top level because this is still the same level that we had before. Like this level and this group is the same. But if I go into sales, you see we had more green here now than before because we're now comparing every cell on the account level, which is the second level in this case. So now there is one global minimum and one global maximum for this whole level. If I type in here row level is equal to 1 and apply this, then there is no formatting applied to the level 0, which is the first field added here, that's 0. Next one is 1. If you add another one, it's level 2 and so on. So now this is clean, and if I expand on sales, I'll see the formatting only there. And now if I change this back to child group, just look at this and see what happens. So now there is more red because there are different minimum and maximum values inside of this group. So that's diverging, going from one color to another. You can change this to anything you'd like, and then you'll see different color ranges, right? Sequential, that means you choose the color. It's preset, so you need to just choose one of these. You can divide it into different nuances. So let's say 10 different nuances. You only pick, let's say green, and everything else could be the same, and click apply. And then it's going to go from the lightest to the darkest depending on the values. The last one is custom, and this is rule based again, but then you can specify that the values between -1 million and 0 should be red, and everything from 0 to 1 million should be green. And again, background or font, and you can choose these and then apply. And then you see everything within those rules are colored. Everything outside of those are not colored. So this is, and you can add multiple rules, so you can build this out as detailed you want. And you can delete these if you don't want to use those parts. So that's all for version 8.3. If you want to stay up to date on everything that we do, you should like and subscribe on our channel. I linked the description to our GitHub page with all the release notes and documentation on these features in the description, along with the app source link where you can either purchase licenses but also download the sample file for this. That's it for now. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more videos.